we're doing 6. Oh yeah, we're breaking all the rules. Rules that I arbitrarily made up, but they're still rules, and they're still being broken, just like in that Judas Priest song. The one about breaking the rules. So let's, without further ado, kick things off right now. Let's rock it in there with a game that's leagues above a whole bunch of others. I am, of course, talking about Rocket League. I'm not a fan of sports games at all, and there are only a few racing games that could hold my attention, so it speaks volumes about Rocket League that I consider it one of the best games of the year. It's a soccer game, but you're cars, and you race around the pitch trying to smack the ball into the opposing goal using flips and stunts. The concept is simple, and in practice, it's beautiful. One of the best multiplayer experiences you could hope to find this year, Rocket League's tight physics and nail-biting tension has had me on the edge of my seat and roaring in triumph whenever I get to score a goal. It's actually turned me into a yelling football hooligan this year, so invested in it I've been. It's a chaotic affair, but there's a unique elegance to the anarchy, a purity that comes from having cars smash around a big field and hitting balls. It's good, honest fun, basically, and you simply can't have enough of that these days. These awards have only just begun, but you won't need a guide to get you through them. It's time for award number 2, the Beginner's Guide. The Beginner's Guide is an affecting experience. It's not for everybody, certainly not for those who sneer at walking simulators in their entirety. However, this introspective look at game design and how we interpret meanings behind people's art has had a significant impact on many of those who've given it a go, myself included. It did, in fact, lead to one of my very best pieces of written work, where I simply opened up about myself as a creator, the past struggles that have influenced me, and how they dictate my actions as a person today. The Beginner's Guide brought that out of me, that raw honesty that I'd never felt quite comfortable throwing into the public eye before. To say more about The Beginner's Guide as a game is to give too much away, which is why I always talk about its effect rather than its content. It made me think of myself as a creator of entertainment. It made me think about how I handle criticism. It made me think about why I do the things I do. It bored into me in an affecting way, a way so few games have ever come close to doing. It's fascinating, it's almost brutal, but it is ultimately one of the finest and most provocative interactive experiences out there. You know, there are some games I could start talking about, like, late at night, and I won't be stopped talking about them until dawn. Oh yes, our next Jimquisition award goes to the unique horror stylings of Until Dawn. Until Dawn isn't a game I expect to see on many lists, but as a horror fan, this one is an absolute beaut. Inspired heavily by the movies of the 90s and early 2000s, it's got a lot of Scream in there, some Saw, and a few 80s classics like Friday the 13th. It's a self-aware, sometimes delightfully cheesy horror game that deals with cause and effect in a damn clever way, providing some actual consequence for your actions, rather than the usual smoke and mirrors other games provide. It's set up like a Quantic Dream game, except it's well written and has engaging characters, and it's actually effing good. It's clear this was made by people who really understand horror, what makes it both brilliant and silly, and Until Dawn embraces both those aspects without shame, featuring some tense action sequences, interesting adventure game elements, and a range of amazing performances, including a hammy term from Peter Stormare, I love him. I never get his name right. Until Dawn demonstrates how big budget horror still has a place in the industry, and its subsequent critical and commercial acclaim is a great thing for the genre overall. It's the